you did my thinking this morning to make sure it's right. After you look and stuff, it's something
Well, I'm not sure if it's safe.
I'm working on it. Anyway, I mean, I do feel really good about it considering times that it is. We actually have a surplus. Based on we start with revenue.
What needs to be better?
I will. Okay. First of all, we're going to work out this. We're going to work through it all the way through. All right. Pretty much everything is the same as always. The taxes that are in these lines are actually what's left right now. And notice the first thing to highlight on this page is that we've adjusted and scaled back to actually match our collection rate. And so we've scaled it back by 32,000. And it's highlighted. 788 is what we feel is. We have added the building permits fee at 5,000, and then we've added the zoning. That's going to be like code enforcement. Then on the second page, and I've never on the return to sales tax, you'll notice that we're budgeted this year in that first column at 500. We scale that back by 10%. So you see different scenarios. The league said maybe the first quarter you'd have a 25, but they don't. Nobody. I know that's true. So as a whole, we scaled it back because we felt like that better way. That's $52,000. So between the two, we scaled revenue back 80. So
you said 10%.
Yeah. We'll honestly probably get over
And we've talked with the county. We looked at their figures of the school government resistance. And nobody really knows where this is going. I mean, it depends on how people can adjust, what the unemployment rate's going to be like. And some studies are saying people are really hustling right now to pay down credit card debt, save more. They're worried. But then, the stimulus package has pumped some money into the economy that beefed up unemployment benefits, that pumped some money in. And, and looking what we have that we gather sales tax from around here, a lot of it has been, up and going, and some of it going, overtime. Talk about the grocery store. So I don't think the county was really thinking they were going to do much adjustment, but we just didn't feel comfortable. We only get a percentage of what they get. Mm-hmm. And my real fear is not necessarily this quarter, but what happens when some of those benefits
run out.
run out. And what I just was on a call with Jamie McMahon. We were looking at the unemployment figures. For March, Yancey County's at 4.5, which is not that bad. You know, what we'll be really interested to see is when the April figures come out at the end of May. And then we'll see, do we have a big jump there? You know, but
I'm afraid it's gonna be a lot different.
it may be, but now, you know, we've still got our major employers, the school system, the Young McLean, certainly the hospital, healthcare systems, and our manufacturing are still all up and going. So, and you actually have a lot of small business where maybe the owners are not just taking income in a way that's necessarily reflected as they're not considering themselves employees. So sometimes the numbers can be a little skewed by that. So
And we don't know about the virus, if there's gonna be a second wave, and then there's gonna be another kind of shutdown. where
Exactly.
People are gonna go back in
Right.
and not be out spending money again.
right. So
That's all
so
uncertain about.
it's uncertain and how fast. I mean, I think the governor's call on Monday, the numbers look pretty good. They were testing, I think, about 6,000 a day in the state, had about 10% positive rates. And so they were looking at that saying, you know, we're meeting our benchmarks to go ahead and open. But somebody said, well, can you do it earlier? And they said, no, you know, all the medical advice is you need a 14-day window of that. Once you've got that, then you can, you know, start making decisions. All right, can we relax a little bit more? And then look another 14 days and see, okay, where are we at? Are we exploding with this positives and deaths and that stuff, or are we sort of maintaining a level? So I don't really expect that on the 22nd, we're going to back up this time based on what the numbers are. But like I said, we don't know going forward. We're going to get to that point where we're all open to full capacity by some time.
Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Other than that, we stayed conservative on the ABC. Felt like we were getting on over. COVID. We don't have enough. That's pretty much it for the revenue. Much there.
And the craft fair,
Well, we don't know.
we don't know, Lucy said they did.
I mean, we're
That's the only
budgeting.
money they get,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and we're budgeting, you know, for the revenue, but we're also over, you know, double that on the expense side, so. It's,
I'd
mean,
been
unless they'll
wondering
tax.
about that, if they had made a decision or if they were just kind of holding.
No, no, not yet, I think they've got a Zoom meeting today. And Literary Festival, we're gonna try to put it up. Yeah.
What was it? That sort of thing. Oh, yes.
Yeah. That is. Just don't know. But one thing for sure. Get more money. Figure ourselves out of
And I'm going to interject one more thing. You know, that the governor and the legislature appropriated money to come to local governments. It's a significant amount of money. The county is eligible for a significant amount of money. There is no direct allocation to municipalities. It's just what the county wants to share with you, but this first round is only for COVID expenses. I had a discussion with the county manager. earlier, and, you know, we talked about that. It's for expenses going to the end of this year, so they may have more significant, we don't know. But at this point, like Leslie said, we don't have that much as far as COVID-related expenses. So I don't anticipate us really having to make big expenditures on that end, and I don't anticipate us really getting any of that money. There is a new bill on the national level, hopefully, that will bring some money back to local governments, state and local governments for fulfilling revenue holes.
Would
And-
that be for stuff like where you had to, an employee thought they'd been exposed and we had to pay their sick leave and all that kind of stuff? Is that what it would be for? It's sanitation?
So it can be for supplies, equipment, if we had to go to the expense of setting up like a field hospital. I mean, I figure the county probably will get to use, you know, some of theirs for health department expenses, their emergency management operations, that sort of thing, which we don't really have those costs. The new bill, if it goes through and the states do receive more revenue to help state and local governments sort of fill the gaps of lost revenues, then we hope we'll be able, you know, if we do have a sales tax shortage or something, we may be able to have that. But that's not law yet. And I was on a call with the Department of Commerce yesterday. They were calling everybody across the state, and I expressed that was our biggest worry right now, was having a revenue hole from sales tax. And he said, well, we're hearing that everywhere, and that's what we're passing along. You know, that if there's new relief funds coming down, we'd like them to be here. So that may be a way we end up getting some of this money back. There again.
Okay, you'll flip on to page 3. Government body, there's not much difference there except I split Jeannie and Chad, speech, and that's pretty much it. Actually, less than it was last year.
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to page 4, to the administration, and I'll let
Well, there's just a few things to say. We've got it highlighted at 420. That's election expense. Of course, we can say $4,000 this year. There is no election. That's pretty much their budget is pretty normal and usual, except we don't have a basketball center anymore, so that's off the budget. So, yeah. So, if anybody's got questions as you go down the list here, that's the only thing that jumps out as a change.
you'll see it on your,
The second item on expenses makes me happy.
well,
I didn't want to have to argue with him again this year.
well, the thing is, I mean, when we started talking about this, I mean, that's the only big ticket item in the whole general. That was
Now, what is it you think?
the second thing on this expense is no purchase of a new police.
Oh, yeah, I saw
So,
that.
yeah, and that's,
Let that go back.
Brian and I argue every year about that. I usually lose.
well, he was very cooperative.
He expected it.
Yeah.
We kind of giving him a little heads up. You know, and I think he expected it, and I mean, you know, that's.
Yelling back to everything else.
Right.
All right, you'll flip on to the town center side.
There's
Page
not
number
much
5.
to say about that.
I
either.
know.
It's just really unsure as far as the revenues are concerned. But as far as expenses, there's no big change really.
I scaled the labor bank just because of Friend last year. So that helped. It's actually overall this year totals less than last year.
Yeah. Be a good thing.
I'm asking Niles if he's planning on joining us.
Now, when's the first thing here? Is it the Lucier thing?
I want
No,
the
they
community
rescheduled
promotion.
that.
I haven't recently looked at the schedule, I'm not quite sure.
I know
That
they
had been
did,
postponed till fall.
yeah, it had been
We
postponed.
might possibly have a concert. But, that could be. Yeah. According to the governor, we don't know what our capacity will be as well. I'm not sure it is now.
There have been few, I don't think there have been a lot of rescheduled. for the next
Yes, a
year.
lot of the events.
Hopefully it's
Okay, I'm good.
Well, we're at community promotions, let's see.
Called him to say, do you wanna wait on that? till
Yeah, let's-
Teresa gets here.
Let's do later.
And I hadn't heard back from Niles, but I can get Brian.
See if he wants to.
So we're skipping, is there something in here about the police or skipping, we're doing this?
We're waiting to see if Brian can come, and then we're gonna skip the community promotions right now. Teresa.
Honey, if Brian can join us, then it's on page 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that here, but is there anything in here about, we just
the
know
police
the
car.
police car and that's it?
This is pretty much just the highlights of it.
Do in between. I mean, if you wanna start on the fire,
Yeah,
Leslie, because, I mean, I haven't heard back from Niles and I don't know what, I know Chad sent him an invite. To either jump on here or come by and he may be doing something over at the site or.
well, okay, pretty much, all right, so page 8. Okay. We had a hard time with UCB when we were working on our loan. So anyway, the LGC requires that you do a straight line amortization schedule for finance. So what that basically is they want your principal payment to be the same amount all the way through your loan. And what happens is that your interest is higher at the front end of it, you pay a lot, you pay. But the overall effect is saved us about 30.
More than that.
So,
It was over 40.
was it?
I thought Donnie said about 47.
So, so it's hard to swallow right now.
Yeah.
And, Niles is pretty unhappy with payment of it. But that's all we can do. This is how it is.
So it's $40,000 or something a month?
No.
No, every quarter?
It saved us $40,000.
Oh, it's
At the
saved us
end, over the life of
$40,000.
the loan, so when we get to the end, by amortizing it the way the LGC requires you to do it, you save about between 40 and 45,000 in interest
Mhm.
payments through the life of the loan.
Mhm.
Because you're not paying it on, like a straight commercial loan, you would pay on a construction, you would just pay interest.
Mhm.
And then a year later, you'd start picking up principal payments.
Principal.
But the LGC says, no, we want you to start immediately, you have to pay principal every month, and it has to be the same amount.
Mhm.
So,
And how do we pay it? How is it being paid? I mean, do you pay monthly?
Yeah,
or-
they just billed us, and so it's gonna be, this month is
Oh,
12,000.
Mhm.
But it's gonna be pricey. And I think what he had is that he was pulling the 1.3 amortization. Now reality is 106 principal amounts.
for the year,
Yes, so we ended up going from last year, his budget was 126 on the town side, to this year, it's 139. So we have definitely compensated for their fire tax increase and had to still keep it up because that still got some costs. But on the other side, he has actually put the interest portion of his loan into the fire tax side, which is helpful because there's no way. He shifted, he shifted around a little, and we ended up just splitting the difference. But, there's no labor in it this year, this, training stipend, he just moved from there. Really nothing other than just. And so he had had the capital outlay before, and that was like the building payment. And, then he's just trying to fill it in, if we had to cut this process. But pretty much this is where it's at. Does anybody have any questions about this department?
And how many years was that loan for? 15, I couldn't remember. 10 or 15.
You said we saved how much?
I wanna say Donnie had
40
figured it at around 40, I think I said like 45,000 over the life of the loan.
I just can't remember what time.
That was, the day, I mean, this was a closing that lasted, what, 5 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, so we had lots of time to sit and talk about different things, but when he figured it, you got down to, what you would be saving by cutting your principal amount down from the get-go. So obviously less interest payment. Principal stays the same and interest decreases as you go. I think it was over 40,000. I want to say 45.
And the payment is how much a month?
It's 12 cents. This year, about 12.5.
For this year.
Yeah, for this year. Now, when we're near 10.
That principal amount of payment is what?
88.
Yeah, $8,888.
88 cents. It's crazy. But, yeah, 10 years into it, the interest will not be so bad. It's just gonna always.
I just got a message from Brian, and I think he's just gonna stop by here. He's on his way back from what he was having. I don't know if it had something to do with what they're doing out the health department testing today. He and Ryan had to move a bunch of cars.
Would you ask?
Is this it? I'm gonna just that one because I've got this one.
We'll move on to 531. Okay. But it did have a bottom line impact. $13,180, and that's the last thing on. Right, the 531, he's got part-time labor. That's mostly got all the benefits in there, and we had actually now would be paying the payment. It was actually it's just mostly running the place with this money. And there's still a little bit of money in capital outlay, and he will probably have to use that help pay for. But other than that, there's not that much. He's still got
And then this on our side,
close to that.
Leslie, where it's got the capital outlay.
yes.
Are we not doing anything there?
No, because
So that-
that had just been, you know, the actual,
Okay.
there's
And then so the rest of the bill. Services.
it's gonna have to come out of this capital outlay on that fire tax.
Yeah.
Anything else. I'm left over.
Skip to Brian, or we
Yep,
going back to
Let's go
Brian?
back to Brian. All right, Brian,
What page is Brian?
page 7. Okay. Brian, well, there's not a lot different about Brian's budget except just this capital outlay line.
Yeah.
Cause he just increased his vehicle. Little repair. Auto repair.
Yeah.
maintenance.
Well, again, we had put in for a, four-wheel drive vehicle, but with the current state of things, discussion, we're hoping we can make do for another year and fix up what we have, thus the increase on the maintenance line to try to get a few things fixed. See if we can we've been pretty lucky so far with, as far as, bad weather, our vehicles, and that's what vehicle we're going to replace was one of our four-wheel drives. It's just about had it, but we're hoping muddle through for another year and see what next year brings. We've, in the past several years, we've been buying, all of the patrol cars we've been buying have been all of anticipation, taking some stress off of our four-wheel drive vehicles. So that's helped out some. We still have some that are just rear-wheel drive vehicles. We have the one Ford truck that's in fair shape, and then the one that we were looking for. See if we can get it into some sort of running shape. For that.
Friday.
Okay.
You've made Jesus.
Yeah, I
Made
know.
today.
Yeah. So,
I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, I, asked Brandon about the grant expense, so it's stuff that we're even doing. There's nothing.
I think we're still on track to get that 25,000 no match grant for this coming year that we were approved for last year, but they haven't released the monies for, and that's what 1,000. It looks like an expenditure on this side, but there should be a revenue line somewhere that comes in as 25,000.
And that's for what, Brian?
This
What do
year
you
we
use
had
it
put in for upgrade to our information technology, our server, our RMS stuff. Anticipation, I think in the last couple of weeks, Janice is trying to switch some stuff over at the office because some of the servers we have are they're popping up with errors and unable to use. So we had put in that this call and additionally some more equipment, some more officer equipment.
Technology.
It's a combination of those two, and that money comes from Department of Justice. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think it's through the Department of Justice. These are no match grants that are 0%. This will be the third year in a row that we've got. Sort of.
Yeah.
But the money's got delayed, but the third year in a row we've been approved.
There's no match. You have to pay. So I
Right.
have
Dylan says he is printing off the proposal that you'll just send him. So what can we skip to? Do y'all want to look at community promotions and just do a first pass and then?
That's fine. It's page 6.
Okay, we were going to do this a little bit different. They had to put in a request. Have we gotten?
We have everything that's on here has been what's been requested. Now, the ones that aren't on here did not make requests.
Okay.
Jeannie's got.
I
That's the
have
thing
it
I've
if anybody
seen.
wants to look at it.
This is a lot of requests.
Yeah.
Well, it's free money.
It looks like they grew to me. So,
I think we've only had 2 new ones down at the bottom. The rest have always been there.
Yeah, they just have asked for more.
And last year, when we sent the checks, I wrote it on top of it, that I expect not to see any.
And we did the Luthier Festival last year, but what does Luthier mean? And below it, I see the festival, and then I just see Luthier.
Oh, that's
you got
literary.
literary
And
festival.
literary.
Yeah.
Oh, literary,
Yeah.
excuse me. Getting your glasses done. Get on here. Goodness gracious.
And see, we may not have to do that.
Well, Luthier never made a request.
Oh, didn't they?
Mm-mm.
No, I was talking about literary.
And literary, like I said, they moved. Did they move it or did they cancel it?
I
think
think
they-
have they canceled? You know,
The last I heard, they were looking at a date in the fall, but nothing was set. So I don't know what the status is on
Yeah,
that.
they had a,
They're already in September. I mean, that's.
yeah, they had a meeting last night. I don't know.
I guess
We can push
TBA.
it back, so Chad said, but I'm not sure, I'm not,
That's what we're.
yeah.
we can push it back. I don't know either.
And the Luthier Festival is looking for a date in
Hey,
September.
Yeah.
If you know that.
Luthier.
You said over here, 'cause she's not.
Yeah,
for
sure.
September.
But the literary
Oh,
festival.
so Richard.
At your desk.
You're safe.
Oh, they-
I mean, some of these things like the high country and the TDA and the school government and parking lot and those things are not, I guess, the chamber bathrooms.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, and
not,
that's
and we
changed.
have,
They're
good, like,
SOP.
shout out to Corbin and Chad, because they have really done a good number of getting those bathrooms fixed.
We had an arrangement before with the chamber, their cleaning person cleaned those bathrooms. And when there was a change in the director, we were looking at those bathrooms and decided that we would just take the bathrooms. So Corbin and Chad have been over there. I guess I could tell me if I miss something. They have taken the old paint off, taken up old baseboards that were peeling back. They sanded down the stalls so that the metal isn't rusty anymore. And they painted off, pressure washed. They've done a big job over there.
Now, who's done that? Chad
Corbin
and
and
Corbin?
Chad, yeah. They spent at least a week on it, didn't you?
Well, we're almost done, we're not quite done.
But it's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, we need just another day or two, we'll be done.
Now, there are a few plumbing repairs, are they getting?
We're going on that maybe? Not sure.
Okay.
But probably the Larry Festival was canceled.
Okay, literally,
It's
it's
not
the
rescheduled,
years,
but-
it's rescheduled.
I thought that's what she said. they were
So,
gonna-
and that gets us, because that's calendar year, but we don't know if they're gonna, if they wanna move it. If they move it to next September, then we're in another budget year, but if they like moved it to next May, I don't know what they
But
wanna do with their request.
Well, if they cancel, then you think they are done till next September?
I don't know, I don't know.
I would think they've had that date for so many years, I
Yeah.
would think they would wanna keep that.
That's what Lucy was saying yesterday, that cancel it till next year. at the
Okay.
same time, but I wasn't in the meeting.
Well, so that might be one, request we take off. And Luthier didn't make a request, so they're out. They weren't in. So,
They did not make a request.
No.
They did not make a request.
Weird.
And it may be because they didn't actually.
Well, we publicized it pretty
Oh, yeah.
good. I mean, because new people found us, you would think old people would have figured it out.
But we gave them some money last year.
Yeah,
Remember, we
absolutely.
did give them some money, not what they wanted, but we did give them some money. Less than they wanted.
Yeah.
So,
But if they didn't make a request, and we did,
and that's kind of, I mean, that's the policy you guys adopted. You need to make the request,
take
because
it.
we gotta know. We
They
can't.
have a pretty good corporate response. They've got a pretty good.
And she's
Well, we gave
pretty
them the
up
1,000
on this
last
stuff,
time.
so,
Yeah.
I'm sure you know.
Okay, well, you just wanna start at the top. You
Yeah.
got Parkway.
Yeah. The 500 more than they asked for last year.
Even though we said don't ask for more.
Yeah.
And we don't know about their schedule. I mean, I've heard.
Well, now there's another thing that I think they booked some events happening here. Playhouse,
Yes.
trying to do some things over here rather than there. They can.
The Playhouse has been in touch with us a little bit, coordinating some events.
what was that?
Parkway Playhouse and some people who go there have been in touch with us. Coordinate some events with us.
I mean, I had heard they're not planning on opening the Playhouse this summer, but I don't, that may just be rumor mill.
Well, they're usually in the thick of a rehearsal or ready to open very soon by now, but I don't think they,
They're not able to.
know, so.
Even if they bump it to 50 as a mass gathering for the next phase, I don't think that helps them that much, because they would have more than. I mean, I'd say they probably have 50 working on a production. You know?
Oh, absolutely. And so,
When we said not to ask for an increase,
Yeah.
did I not?
we had said previous to this, Judy's right, that we wouldn't be increasing.
Well, one
We had
option-
said among ourselves, we would not be making any increase.
And Jenny let everybody know that. I mean, one option would be to approve the appropriation. And then, because we need them to sign a contract, in order to get the money, and they may say, look, we're not gonna do it this year, so we don't wanna obligate ourselves or whatever. And it's not like they're paying it back, but they're just contracting with us that they're spending the money for what they propose to spend the money. So, I don't know if y'all wanna go through the process of just approving the amounts, and then we reach out to them after the budget is passed, and then what can we do with that if they.
Of course, people like the Parkway Playhouse can always use that much money for some kind of capital improvements or whatnot, even though they don't put on a season of plays. I mean,
Right. Well, this money, and I think we said it can't be used by statute, it can't be used for bricks or mortar.
Oh, does it?
things.
Okay.
It has to be for programming.
okay,
So I don't know what they will be able to do as far as that.
unless they did something online.
Did something online with kids or something
That's
like
right, they
that,
have a big
you know.
kids program and they might do something online with kids, so.
Well, I think we should stick to our original and say no increase.
I agree with that.
And in saying that, what's this public art? Light bill for the telescope?
Yes, that is actually what it is. You remember last year we established that because it's not solar, it doesn't operate that way.
Even if it was solar, it would have had to been attached to the grid.
Yeah.
Public art, I hadn't even gotten that far.
Okay, I'm confused. What telescope are we talking about?
The one down here that lights up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Where's the telescope?
where is the telescope?
The,
Funding to build the landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought, not paying for that.
The gateway.
The gateway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. It's,
Gotcha.
okay. And so, I mean, it'll probably go over 700 because it's already at 620 now.
Is that thing on a timer?
I don't know. I'm
I
not-
thought a lot of it was solar.
No, they
evidently.
weren't able to do the solar because the
Oh.
solar was gonna, they wanted us to do a lease with the people who own the
The
property there
property,
to
yeah.
fit the solar panels on their
That's right.
roof and,
I
Which would have
remember.
collapsed the building.
which, well, I mean, which was just super complicated and, you know,
I remember now, but, okay, you're talking, well, we won't talk about the others that are supposed to go in. So,
Well, thank you
We'll
for
move on.
that.
yeah, and at some point, yeah, we may need to revisit that and say, look, y'all will, I guess French Broad had to have somebody. It may need to be tracked at some point because it is their property.
Well, going back, so do you think we should scale back the playhouse to just the two and then just wait? Clear.
yeah, I think so. You know, we need to stick with what we originally said, and I guess we can look at it if we need to, can we, Heather, or?
I agree unless we said something different. We sent out what did we say when we sent the letter? Because we had said amongst ourselves, we would not.
No, when they got their payments last year, they were notified that there would be no increases in the next year.
Well, I think that's it.
So, I mean, I think they're,
I actually think I made it broader than that, like, I don't think I said that next year.
Then that,
Russell Bucks, there comes the real Russell Bucks.
then that,
Yeah.
then that's that. That's what we
How
should
about
do.
Tracy?
I don't understand why you're wearing that shirt.
I don't
I
either.
don't understand why I thought it was at 6 o'clock, but I did.
Because that's when our other meeting.
Our next one.
I just remember
Our next
Chris saying, let's do it at 6.
That was the next.
Then that's what we should do.
My bad.
Okay, so just scale it back to the two.
Two there.
Okay, all right.
And then see if how it's gonna be used this year. I mean, you know, are they-
Yeah. And so I guess it's, you know,
Oh,
Hey, there's Smiles.
I know,
Look, he looks like he's
Hi,
out.
can you hear me?
yeah.
He's out.
Okay.
Are there lots of people out there?
Well, there's not right at the moment. There has been a pretty good crowd about 9:30, but it's kind of slacked off now.
Good. You want to skip, then we go back to Miles since he's kind of.
Yeah. All right,
Let's go back to Miles.
okay. Page number 8. Yeah.
We already looked at this, Niles, and nobody had any, I don't guess, real questions for you, but is there anything you want to add or talk to anybody about?
Nothing that I know of. I think Leslie and I sat down and looked at it. I think we've got all the interest covered for next year, and probably the principal is covered too. We're going to be a tight budget, but I think we can manage it.
That's pretty much what we say. It's just what it is.
it's looking good over there.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Kind
As
sentiment.
well as be expected right now, so.
I'm sorry, the audio's going in and out. I didn't hear what you said.
Nothing really, so. Didn't matter.
Okay.
Hey, there's no I mean, I told them there wasn't any real changes.
Okay.
Work. And that, pretty much labor was in the fire tax and the building and just some of that operation. Town side. It's what it is at this point.
And that's pretty much it.
Thanks. Don't let any
Yeah.
test takers run over you.
Well, I'm gonna try to stay out of the way. If y'all don't need me, I will see you later.
Okay, thanks, Miles.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, back to community promotions, page 6. Okay, the library,
That hasn't changed ever.
no, and I mean, and you know they're gonna continue to make the money. They're not.
Are they open? I know they can open. Did they open?
I don't know.
RL walks that way, and he said they didn't appear to be, because I asked him.
I think they're doing curbside. I think I saw that on Facebook, like they're starting to do curbside now, where you can like request certain books or whatever, and they'll bring it out.
I have to go look through them.
And
Yeah, I think it's such a
and
I know that's what Asheville Library was going to do.
I saw that on Facebook. I think they started. And I'm assuming the Smithsonian Institute traveling exhibit. I'm assuming.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were going to be getting the Smithsonian Institute traveling
I
exhibit.
hadn't seen that in her.
It was, I mean, it was going to be a big deal.
That was in the
Jamie,
journal.
I saw it online because I was just following the Smithsonian, and then Jamie Matmahan had mentioned it. And then the librarian worked really hard to get that. It was supposed to start at the end of this month and run all the way through till July 11th, I think, or something like that.
Looks like they could do that, so it kind of let people, I mean, looks like they could do so, just so many at a time to go through.
And I haven't confirmed that it's canceled. I'm just assuming.
What kind of exhibit was it? Of what?
It was called Waterworks or something.
Oh,
We were the first town in North Carolina to get it, and then everybody was going to come here to watch it put it up.
well, that was a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you wanna leave it at 3 then,
Yep.
Mhm.
okay? The EDC, we're at 20 cents, we're gonna go ahead and do this bridge loan out of this year.
They had asked for initially asked for 26 for a $6,000 contribution to the bridge, to the recovery fund. And then they switched focus to do the bridge loans when the county offered a larger contribution. And then
Now, this 20 is just their regular running money.
yeah,
And
yes,
the bridge loan is entirely different.
is entirely different, yes.
Yeah, and the 26.6 was just a one-time thing. That was to help pay for something.
Yeah, the six was to pay for the economic development plan, the study that High Country did,
Yeah,
or
that's
part of
what it
that, so.
is. I'm good with that.
With the
Yeah.
20. Track at the 3,
That's their
they
usual.
took heed.
Yeah,
Y'all are okay with still doing that?
I am.
Right, High Country, COG, that's just the fees, the membership fees, they're gonna still not.
We were gonna do like a 3-year increase, every
Yeah.
year for 3 years to get them where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's less.
I'm good with them because they do so much for us.
History Association, okay, they went in, they like to go.
They go up every year.
Every year.
So,
We're not going up for Parkway Playhouse. We shouldn't go.
No.
yeah,
Oh, I don't think we should go up for anybody,
No,
that's
you-
policy.
but I mean, are you okay with doing the 35 or?
Did they give, they sent in and they saw they sent in there
Yeah.
and told what they were doing and all that? Well, if they preserve some of our history, I'm in favor of keeping them in the budget, 35. I hope they're good custodians of it.
Everybody okay with 35?
Yeah. Yeah. The next one that went up looks like the School of Government.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
$4.
How much, $4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to that.
That's based on population.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh. Really? Okay, Craftsbury, you know, it won't be hit unless they actually have it. It's all pretty much labor. Community promotion. 7,000.
I mean, that's kind of what the town does on the square, the events. Right now, nothing
going on.
is going on, but that wasn't scheduled to be going on until July, right?
Yeah, she's usually just done like July, and she's done August and September.
And I know that the August one, am I right? August was the one that they coordinate with Michelle McCall's group about the family movie thing, family movie night on the square. And I think that the last email I saw, they are going to leave that on their schedule for right now. And just, I mean, everybody's just see, we don't know how many people can be on the square at one time.
I say just leave it at 7 and if we use it, fine, if we don't, there.
Everybody good with that?
I'm good with the $4.
Okay. All right, parking lot that's how much it is. Public art, okay, so 700, that's pretty much, it may go over. Traditional voices, they've asked for. Interesting, I don't even really know if they're actually a real thing.
I don't know, but they sent in a packet, right?
And then who, since,
It was Ellen Baker.
who's, who,
Ellen Daker.
Oh, didn't she, Ellen Decker?
Daker.
Yeah,
Larry
probably
Hell
did.
I know Larry Hell did, that's what I was gonna say, since Larry died, I wondered who was,
Yeah, that's.
but I don't know that person. Of course, they won't give it a raise.
Okay, so everybody okay with 15 for 'em, or?
Yeah.
And I don't know what time of year, I don't remember when they did theirs.
They did the riddle festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
They
remember what
usually
time,
do it.
so they may or may not do their thing, and I don't know, I don't remember when
Yeah, I
Riddle
don't
Fest
remember
was.
it being up this year.
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen a thing about it.
either.
When was it, Brian? I don't,
That's what I was trying to remember. Do you have it on their schedule? Do you have access to the town center schedule? Here.
Cause it used to be.
Well, I can't, pull it up on the computer, that's last year. So everybody would just see.
It's on my calendar from last year.
It seems like it was late,
You remember they had it in February. And then they moved.
Well, they changed it,
Yeah,
because
I can't remember.
the weather was so bad in February.
Somewhere around his birthday, I thought.
So 15, okay then?
they're gonna have it, so they don't. And they wouldn't need our money, but we'll see.
Jeannie, on the application, what did they want the money for? They want it for the festival? Or operating cost, or?
see attached, I suppose that's her letter. They give a listing of what they are gonna be doing. It is real fast.
It's for Riddle Fest.
Uh-huh,
Alright.
yeah.
You're gonna have to go for
somewhere, Brian.
Oh my gosh. Y'all need me anymore?
No, we don't.
I started to say, I
We
can
don't
just go.
need you anymore. Just go. Done,
I
done, you're
kept saying
done.
one.
But my cat stopped. Oh, he's gracious. Pretty sick. I had to talk to her. I'm here.
They put the whole.
You heard about the riddle fair?
Sorry, Heather.
I mean, they put the whole thing together.
You say yes, pretty bad.
No, I don't need it.
Oh,
Teresa, we're on our budget.
What page are we on?
C.
we're on six.
Yes.
We're on community promotions.
Oh, goodness,
And
that's,
we're down to traditional voices.
Yeah.
my glasses, and I know put them in.
My granddaughter got into UNCW.
Oh, so
That's
she's
what all this noise is
excited.
over here.
Maybe twin toes and good friends.
That's what she likes, so. We'll see, they may not even have school.
This is true.
Or the baby.
Okay, what page, I'm sorry, Leslie?
Page 6 is under, right.
Got them nicely lit up like,
Well, except I'm not sure why the copier decided some pages red, some pages black when they were all red.
oh, well, it's got a mind of its own like my cat. It's over there in the corner. Oh, hey, yes. Oh, that's not Chad. I couldn't see too well. Okay,
That's the
so,
online clerk school.
let's see, I was
We're
going,
almost at the bottom.
You wanna just run through quick,
Yeah,
Leslie,
that's
what
fine.
everybody was
Okay.
good with them?
Parkway, we're keeping them at 2,000, Teresa. Have you found that?
yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, libraries at 3, EDC's at 20, track still at the 3, 597. History's at 35, PDA still at 3. Crafts fair still at the 75, and then we're, saying that if we don't use it, we won't get the line. We'll be fine, we won't get the revenue.
Okay.
Community promotions, we're leaving the 7 in case we have anything.
Do we know, is the craft fair gonna be held?
They're having a Zoom meeting tonight.
Okay, excuse me.
Oh, that's fine.
So that's for the community events on the square, the 7,000.
School government's the 228, the parking lot 96, public art is 700, and that's for the public art down at the end of town. That's the liability. So we're down to the traditional voices group and back at 1,500 on. Right, the chamber bathrooms, yes, they said that Corbin's actually on the chat and been working on them.
Yeah.
And he's gonna clean them, and so we just are gonna have to cover the electric bill for the rest. So. Christmas decorations, we still have 3 for that, what we. Everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
And then Explore Burnsville, we had that in here and taking that over and. They
2
wanted,
years they billed us. And then this year. Our website.
Yeah,
Budget for it.
EDC was. I get a bill.
yeah, well, okay, so BDG solved. Ginger gave me a check in whatever was left. Put it in the town center savings account. Hold it there. If they do bill us, then we're gonna use that for this. For that fee. I'll just deposit it into the. But we were trying to go back to think about what actually BDG money used for. So you remember it was actually for the. That was.
Part of it.
So it's just sitting there right
We've not had a BDG in forever, and we just got a check.
Well, see, there was money, there was an account, there was money, and
Yeah.
she had paid, Ginger had actually paid for it. He had just done that entrepreneur program, that I would have to sign. There was little. Okay, Teresa, the Literary Festival, they say they have posted, the fund till next. So,
I'm not surprised.
we're not gonna. Luke here did not ask, so it's.
Then we have the two additions. Now,
Yeah.
what do you want me to reach out to these others, like the Parkway and,
History.
Traditional Voices?
Just tell them that we're gonna have an increase.
Well, I don't care telling them that we're not going, I mean, they know what they get is what they get, that went out in the package, but
No
just
increase.
with some of these things, like Traditional Voices uses this money for the Riddle Fest. If they're not gonna do Riddle Fest this year,
So,
then we probably don't need to fund it, I don't know about Parkway. I mean, for Parkway, with the grants can fund, programming and operational costs for arts programs. So, I'm sure if they're, probably will still have some operational costs. But it seems like Riddle Fest or Traditional Voices was just a fund for that.
right, it was.
So maybe I reach out to them and just say, are y'all planning on having it or postponing it till next year, and then we'll put money in our budget for next year for budget this
Who
year.
kind of manages that now since Jeannie's gone?
Ellen
Danker.
Danker.
No, I don't know.
She would have been.
Sorry.
She used to come, she used to come to the NC stuff. Let's see, yeah, I wasn't. She's been working. Voices for years. Okay.
And who are these new requests? They actually put in written.
Physical legal services, I do not think fits within our criteria to receive, because it's not one of the things we had listed. They have opened a new office over in Spruce Pine,
Yeah.
and they do help, people in our community for sure, but that would not be something that we would fund under these communities. So, it doesn't fit within the scope. And then the Literary Council, Literacy Council, I'm sorry. I don't know, do you want to look at their application? What are they proposing to do?
What are they? And what is our scope? Is it educational?
Education, history, agriculture, art, right?
Like the educational.
Agriculture, art, economic development.
Mm-hmm.
Education and economic development, that seems to fall under literacy, but what is there?
What they're proposing. And they work with Head Start, and they work with, I know they've been doing some work with getting out, kind of online packets and stuff like that, I think.
Do they not work with adults?
They do.
Educating? I mean, like teaching?
No.
Maybe.
What they say, they provide one-on-one tutoring free of
Oh,
charge.
stick with it.
We work closely with all schools, but mostly the elementary schools. We also have a certified Berlin screener. We can screen any resident that might need a reading overlay. Plays are free of charge to help with reading. All materials are free to any client we tutor. We also have a reading program called Once Upon a Time. We've currently done 42 stories on how reading changed someone's life. just goes on like that.
Isn't that in the
We are
paper?
needing to update our literacy office materials.
The Once Upon a Time, isn't that what, it's an article in the paper?
I think so.
So we're paying somebody to write, I mean, that money pays somebody to write that, is that what it is?
Well, I mean, they do a lot of other stuff. but,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Funding
part
will
of their
help us buy
operation.
much needed materials for the summer months. And help us to work into the year by having more advertising. So I guess people are running them free.
The story would be free in the paper. Those are,
They used to be down there by QP, by the, the gas house. So they're utilizing.
What's their budget like in
No,
that?
very often.
I don't think it's there. yet.
Oh,
oh, yes, the regional.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I get $14,250 from the county. They have a $9,600 wage expenditure. Most of it seems just odds and ends. Copy in office is $850. They have a North Carolina Literacy Association fee. Word training and workshops is $300. And down under teaching and tutoring is $1,300 for books and materials, and $810 for tutor training materials. So that's pretty much it.
And this is the first time they're requesting for this.
It's the first, yeah, this is new for us.
I don't guess they knew there was a possibility before, we advertised or sent them, Sounds worthwhile, I don't know,
Well, and I do think, I did look at their Facebook page, and they're, reaching out like virtually, to try to help with, like I said, materials, packets, stuff for kids to do, stuff for parents to get materials from them. Gonna be an issue over the summer, but, the tutoring, I don't know if they're set up to do that online with their clients. But they offer that for free, right, the reading.
Mhm.
I mean, this is their request, this isn't the amount you have to give them.
no, we wouldn't have to start out giving them,
Why don't we start out with a smaller amount? And I think we should give them something.
I think so.
And I'm sure this summer there's gonna be more demand on them. I would say at least 2,000. Am I looking at that right? Their request is 3,500.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they have a big, what am I trying to say? Administrative budget, it's not like they have a big, they're not
It's
getting a lot of
$9,600
salaries.
for
They're not
salary.
top heavy.
Maybe several salaries.
Or about half of what they're asking for would be even $1,500 this year, or,
That's what I had in mind. I'm a little torn with this.
Well, I just think they're contributing to economic development through literacy, and I think, teaching people at all levels to read, kids and adults. I think they were, historically, the Literacy Council for years has been big in teaching adults to read, adults who didn't know how to read. I think they were big on teaching adults to read in this county. One-on-one type thing.
I would propose to give them something, because I think they are a worthwhile organization, and their budget is not top heavy with spending money on personnel. It's impressive to me, so. I think it validates their sincerity more than anything else. Yeah, I'm okay with 50. Or is that, what is half of 3,500?
About 1,700. About 1,700.
And if what we can do.
And, it was maybe we could give them more later on, but I mean, I would recommend hay.
I think that'd be good.
So do.
Alright, so you're here, let's,
Yes.
let's go through your budget stuff and then we can go back to, the deal on the budget.
So what page do we go to? Yeah.
And
Yeah. And then you-
And Judy, you're still deciding.
and then Teresa, we have his little highlights, Russell, we have his highlights. The sales tax is still like,
Let's say that again.
the highlights is that we still back with sales tax. 2,000. Right deal. On the actual highlights.
Are we starting on page 10 with the streets?
Yes. Okay, there's really not much, I mean, there's not much. Is there other than just the street maintenance line, and you'll see it highlighted halfway down. Well, it's because there was a misappropriation.
That's right.
It's actually
For what? I was like looking at that, I was like, and I even have it highlighted when I was going over
Remember how happy
last night. I know, now I remember. I was like sitting like, oh god, did I mess this up?
yeah, we're another $30,000.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Okay, anything you talk about?
I do want to change the wording for 560, 15.
Okay,
I like miscellaneous. There's some stuff we get where I have no idea where to put it.
I know
It's just
that,
like,
there's a
I gotta
lot
go
of that.
for where it's been falling. That would allow me.
Okay. Okay, so just miscellaneous supplies and materials?
I would
or-
do like, just tools and rental equipment
Which one is that?
and miscellaneous or
1,500.
Second to the bottom line.
Okay.
Miscellaneous.
yeah, miscellaneous tools and rental equipment. We kind of covered streets.
Okay. I mean, there's really not very much at all. The late.
Power bill is just power bills. We
Yep.
haven't heard anything from them as far as they're not going to be
No.
sending that, so.
Let's hope they do. Okay. Revenues are
Yes.
looking.
But I mean, nobody knows about what.
Sanitation.
Dylan, was Randall happy? Or did you see Randall?
Randall.
Randall.
Up on Mountain
The
View
pothole.
Drive or whatever, the pothole.
Yeah.
Did you see him?
I haven't seen him. No.
Well, hopefully he was happy.
Just even here talking to me.
Those potholes on that road were bad.
What?
They were bad.
I'm
Very
sure they
bad.
were, that's
They
why I'm
were.
asking.
We were
But the
in there
bushes
not
were
long ago.
fine, so
What?
the bushes were all trimmed back like before. I drove up that road and there was no bushes overhanging the road that I saw.
Well, like you said, that wasn't your job, but
Right.
he was.
The only thing I want to add to sanitation is that miscellaneous expenditure is just so you guys know, it's for recycling.
How, this is not budget wise, but digress for a second. How is it going with our garbage people?
Good, I haven't got any complaints.
Good,
I
that's pretty good. Something's going right.
One of their trucks leaks right in front of our house and I hear it every time.
That hydraulic.
Yeah, garbage, David says, it's garbage running out. But anyway, and it's always in front of our house. I don't know why. But that's the only, as far as that, they're doing a good job.
Okay. All right, we're ready to move on to water. We're gonna take a break.
I just got here. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. All right, so here, we'll go on through and see, we've got water, sewer, highlights in here as well. Just a little packet.
That package you're holding.
Yeah, you're-
right there. It
right there.
says highlights. It says general fund budget highlights. If you'll turn, let's see. Yeah, go about
Oh, I got
4 or 5 pages.
I got it. Yes,
Yeah.
thank
There you go.
All right. So, just the nitty gritty of it is that we're looking at a 5% increase. Don't know yet, but,
you. So when should we?
well, it's just the fact that we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to repair the sewer plant. And the fact is that we're gonna have to get used to paying debt service payments at over 100,000 per project per year. I mean, we're, right now, we have an excess of 113, but we just paid the water plant off 2 years ago, and that was 150. So we need to be thinking in the back of our mind that we're gonna have to send a payment to do something with water in the next 5 to 10 years, because that's gonna have to be done quickly too. We're gonna have to do something different with this pipe plant. We're gonna have to work on these projects. We're gonna get all the grants that we get, that there's stuff we're gonna have. We just need to be we need to be prepared. And it's better to do it in small steps. Do it in increase. And when I talked to the LGC, I've told them about our fee. About getting them later. There's told me that we had to fix this problem. We needed, to not be in violation. And once we got a letter that, just to respond and tell them exactly what we done in the town. But he said, well, I do hope Ken's will do a rate increase. Capture. So, and so if we done a 5%, it would take a regular bill at $25. It was a $2 and like 15 cents. It goes from 43 to 45.15 for both.
That's in town.
It's in town. And it would, hopefully give us 99,000 dollars that we could put back into the capital, into an actual capital project or in our state.
It'll give you more than that, that's based on minimal usage, right?
That is, but well, it's based, I've been real conservative with it, and I just based it on what we've got right now for last year. And we're gonna come in over, actually, on the revenue. I hate to raise.
And the outside fees are included in this 99,000?
No, I just based it
I'm just on the in-town.
And that would get us, basically recoup what we're having to spend on this first phase of this project. Oh, and like I said, this is just base minimal, but that would be 4.5, 5 years. Some of the estimates that McGill gave us initially on sort of a system-wide repair, and they were up there in the $8, $9, $10 million range, and the grants are there right now, but that's not coming close to what, a $2 million grant, a $300,000 grant with a match, that sort of thing, it doesn't. I mean, we're gonna have to look either at some kind of long-term debt service or a revenue bond or something like that. Fix the whole system. I think we've just kicked the can down into the alley and up against the brick wall at this point. I mean, we're very, very concerned about that and how it's gonna work this summer. Very concerned.
So really, we're on borrowed time.
We feel like we're on borrowed time.
Well, I mean, I think we should be looking at,
And McGill had suggested in our last CIP, 3% every year, and that was started in 2016. I don't think we've not had that.
No, we tried to,
Wasn't that
I told her
done?
we tried to save the dollar, and it was like 2.3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 83 cents difference between a 2% and 5%. It's not that much. But that actually did include the out of town. That's actually
It
pretty.
So this 99,000 is based on.
No, it's the whole system.
Oh.
Because they're all of it's just getting out. It's just the bill I get. It'd be $90.30.
Now it's 86.
But
So
that's,
an out of
that's
town-
figured in on the total.
well, I still think it would be good that when our rates go up, that we do the ad in the paper shows, when did we discuss this? Shows a large whipping of bottled water, what that costs, and that same water, what it costs. We really are giving you good water at a reasonable rate versus you go in and buy bottled water.
You know, and I don't understand. I don't know who all these people are. It just amazes me. I don't know where they live. I go to the grocery store and I see people going, maybe they live out of, I don't know where they live. They're carrying out all this bottled water, and maybe it's people that work and they take their water with them to work. And I think to myself, why are they buying all this water? And I noticed that I have occasionally bought a bottle of water, and it comes from Asheville's water system. That's where it comes from. And I'm thinking,
What water are you buying?
really? Do you look and see where this water comes from?
Most of it comes from Florida.
This-
And it's in spring water.
That's spring water.
Well, and you know, you don't know where in the heck it's coming from, really. You don't know, because there are no standards, I understand, for bottled water. It can say, oh, this is certified by, but I have seen on TV that there are no standards for
Where does
bottled
Dasani
water.
come from? That's what they
Yeah,
do.
It's at Atlanta, well, it's Coca-Cola, that's where it's bottled, and
You
it's like
know,
bottles.
It could, and it's coming out, their system's water. And it's nowhere near as good as probably our water. But these people are just taking these flats of water. And I'm thinking, what are you doing that for?
Must have been they-
Really, what are you doing that for? Well, anyway, maybe, I don't know. So, but if we think that people are gonna have this terribly negative reaction to upping their water rates, shouldn't we just simply write an article for the paper that says, this is why we have good water, but our system has failed us and needs repairs and they're expensive, and folks, this is why we're increasing your water rate. Fiscally, this is what we have to do to keep our good water. And I think people will understand.
You should have
And
been
like you
here.
say, now if you want to go out
Yeah.
and buy some bottled water, this is what it's going to cost you, and you don't know where in the hell it's coming from.
I wonder if, say a flat of bottled water, how many ounces that is compared to what?
You can turn your spigot on and get.
Yes, and what that would cost.
We also have to look at the amount of, like, for us as a town, the cost of materials that we have, like chemicals and stuff like that, to treat, that price goes up, so if we don't increase our price to match that,
That's
we're
right.
losing money just to make it there. I mean, you look at our line, you'll see it. like the cost of materials will continue to go up, and if our water rate goes up, broke.
And if we don't have a good water system, we can't, it affects our ability to increase our employability because we cannot, if we don't increase our sewer capacity, we can't increase our plant capacity.
Availability for.
It affects our employment.
At the end of the day, it's the backbone of the town.
That's
It
right.
is.
Your water and sewer infrastructure.
It is.
Well, it's,
Exactly.
Well, it's the backbone of the county in a
well,
way,
it's what gives you
for any
life.
kind of economic development. I mean, and
And most people know that, most town residents.
But they don't, they
know that.
really, every month, they just look at
I
this
think they
form.
need to be reminded.
I think they do that, and I don't think a lot of people, Russell, make the connection.
they don't. We lived through a 50% increase,
Yeah, that
so
was,
you should have been here for that one.
well, we.
about
That
10, 11, it's been
Well,
about-
we did live
I had
through it,
been-
not budget wise, but we got the bills, I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, we got all the
15
sob
budget
stories too, didn't we? And some of them were beautiful. It was not fun, but that's 50% and 5% is, I mean, not that big an increase, really.
No, and we just don't want to have to do that again. I
Right.
mean, we're trying to be more responsible.
we don't want to get to the point where we say, oh, guess what? We're having to pay for a truck to pump and haul our sewage somewhere to be treated. And guess what?
Don't most residents go over their minimal usage on water?
I had no
I saw,
idea.
What was that?
It was like 4,000, 5,000.
I know we do, probably double,
Yeah,
but
well,
I was just wondering if this number wasn't very conservative
well, I mean,
based on the minimum, or is it pretty close?
That's
I've tried to be conservative, but not really. It says water average revenue for 96,000. And I didn't want to overestimate, so I used 9.
Oh,
Okay, but now sewer, the average was 76, and I used 75.
well, that's not gonna change.
But, you know, honestly, we've looked at changing the rates, and we looked at who's a low user, like 0, 1, 0, 2, 3. And there's more of those low users than you would think, like office buildings, because there's offices on things. I mean, you wouldn't think it, but there's a lot of people that don't use it.
We hadn't been, but we did the last time, but there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, that's
we-
probably it. Y'all are there more.
Um,
And I think some people are washing their hands more.
Yeah.
I thought about that the other day when I was washing my hands. I've always been a hand washer, but now I'm even a little more a hand washer. And I thought, you don't let the water run in between. You turn the water on, you soak up your hands, you turn the water off. You let that water run the whole time. You can't do that. It's just like, there's so much stuff you have to be aware of when it comes to the water. You can't just let it run all the time. And that's how you,
remember that.
there's. You have to turn
I
the
don't like
sink on.
Barney when you brush.
No, I don't do that.
Well, I guess I have a question, I guess for Dylan, but indirectly to you, Leslie. I mean, knowing what our projected expenses will be for the water system, I mean, do we not have a plan go by? I mean, as far as what we'll need to do year by year to keep the income coming to meet the cost that we know we're gonna have to meet?
We don't have it yet. That's part of what McGill is gonna do for us in the long range plan. The last conversation we kind of all had, we talked about a rate study, and we also, talked about looking at how we can finance for long term. But we're not gonna know, we don't know until we know what we have to fix. That's the biggest problem. I mean, we don't know, and we don't know what we fix, what kind of impact that's gonna have on solving other problems. So, if we are able to get a lot of our I&I situation cleared up, is that gonna help our capacity tremendously out at the current plant? And then sort of being able to push back when we would have to start thinking about and planning for an expansion. Or is it not? And
So is the expansion gonna be a part of McGill's study for us?
yes,
So how long before they get that completed?
they're working on it
I
right
don't know how long
now.
it's gonna take them to get.
Because we're also having them look at this plant down here on the east side and what we can do there. So we don't know. I mean, obviously, we've got a discharge limit down there that would have to change if we increase. We built another plant down there, how big a plant can we build? Will we be able to move the east side of town and our customers outside of town on the east into that system, freeing up even more space in this system? I mean, those are just all things we're waiting to see when that happen.
Now, isn't some of that decision up to the state?
As far as increasing our discharge permit, yes. Yes,
Yeah, I know that.
and you know, what we've heard from the county representatives is that over that long haul process of trying to get that plant up and going and built, there were some people who were pretty vocal wanting to scale it back. I mean, the original plan, I think, was for like a 400.
When was
It was
it?
400.
25 years.
Oh,
I mean, they've been working on this
working on
thing,
it
at least for 24, I know. So, but they seem to think that some of those voices have moved on, gone on to something else, or
greener pastures.
some other place, and, you know, there is a plan for a mirror plant down there, but that's only going to increase our capacity to what, 250? We would probably want something bigger if we could get it.
250 wouldn't really be sufficient to do anything for the commercial buildings that are down there and maybe some households, but I mean.
Well,
really need a
I
lot bigger
just-
down there.
I just wondered, I mean, if McGill and Associates finally gets this all together, I think it would be good to do a town hearing just for, and invite the commissioners also. They should share in this because what goes for the goose goes for the gander as far as economic development and growth. But I think somehow we should make this expansion needs development available for the public to attend and get it. I mean, we can talk about rates here till we turn blue in the face, but I just think somehow we need to be marketing that this is our future for our growth, development, and for quality of life. And what do you think, Hannah?
And to keep it out of the creek.
I agree. I mean, and once we get the plan, then we can set up something where we have McGill come and present it and
Well, I mean,
let everybody hear.
let's do it. I mean,
from
let's
them.
serve light refreshments. I mean, I just think we need to sell it because it's economic development, it's quality of life, it's everything that makes
Well,
us.
once we hit 70%, we have to start planning for expansion. At 80%, we
I
have
know.
to start acting. Right now, we're like 120. So.
And we really just don't, I mean, we don't think the I&I can account for all of it. I don't know what accounts for it.
We've been
though,
doing
maybe.
smoke testing. And we go, can't think of what the store is. That's on the west side of the square, northwest side. Daisies?
We were working at the Crazy
Crazy Daisy.
Daisy. We were working at the Crazy Daisy this week and thought it came in Shabunny. There's smoke coming out of that thing. And I said, what are you talking about, Claudette? There is smoke coming out of that grate of the building. I said, well, I don't know.
Yeah, so we're doing smoke testing, so that means their gutters are connected to our sewer system. So you have to think of every building that's connected to our system, any storm drains that you see like along the road that are connected to our system, all the water, all the rainwater coming off the roof comes to our system. So, I mean,
We're treating that. We're
We
not
finally
supposed to be
figured it,
treating
we
that.
finally figured it out that you all were tested, so.
But let's just go back. I think when everything's ready, we should do a presentation to the public at large and make sure those county commissioners are here with us. Make it a nice evening, refreshments, but I mean, if we don't sell it, who is going to?
Well, and we need to sell it. I mean, people need to understand it.
And it would be maybe good at that time before we get it, I mean, this is not budget, but just something to think about. maybe that's the time to have a flat of bottled water and what it costs us if we produce it for you versus you go to the store and buy it. Anyway, we'll talk more about it later. but I
One
just-
thing that Heather kind of hit on too, when you get into this type of project, dealing with these aging lines. You know, if you've got 2,500 feet of line here, that's 70 years old, and it's got voids and cracks. If you fix 1,500 linear feet of that pipe, it's gonna put more volume in the lower section of that, so you're gonna be repairing that more. It's kind of like a roller coaster. I mean, it really is, unfortunately. But we need to keep that in mind as we move forward, as you well know. I'm just telling you something you don't know.
I know that.
Like you fix it here, you're gonna blow out here.
I know, but I mean, it's just, you have to start sometime somewhere. The public needs to be made aware of it.
The bad thing is if you get the project, I mean, 4 years about paying on their shot. I mean, they're done.
Yeah.
So you're in the same boat.
Okay, thank you, I just.
Maybe we won't be here in 40 years.
No, we won't.
Some of us.
Say somebody
I'll say
else's problem on it.
Okay.
Okay, but so this budget doesn't have that built in, those rate increases. But I actually scaled back the late fees, it's about halfway down. Just because that right now the governor will let us charge the late fee, and that I'm not sure how that's gonna go, so I'm just trying to be conservative with that, and that's where we are right now. Nothing much else.
What's the process on that increase? I mean, is that a public hearing?
It would just be with the budget, we just pass the fee and rate schedule with the budget, and there's a public hearing for that, so.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, everybody okay?
and we hope by then we can let the public in or have some kind of, something where we can bring people in and out, they can actually make.
Okay, if you want to turn to page 14, and then you'll turn in your book. And that you're done. First one I have is the water overtime was over by 7,500. The sewer actually is under, and the guys are split it real weird as far as the crew. And so all I've done is actually increase the water overtime and decrease the sewer. There's a increase in professional services, on both sides. The water's went from 10 to 25, and then on the sewer side, so it impacted that 45,000. The water treatment supplies, and that's on down here at the bottom of this page 14. We've increased that up to 95, so back to where Dylan's saying that we're treating this water, chemicals are getting more expensive. And then down below the very last line, I think that increase is you have to do on it, and so that's
That number. Yeah.
that's all the highlights I had.
Dues and subscriptions, 811 fees. It's the law to have, be licensed with, mobile, or mobile 811, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, if we don't have, if we're not in contract with 811, we have a contractor come out and dig and they hit something, we are liable for everything. And they can, and that digger or something, the construction worker gets hurt, something like that, we're liable for like every expense. So we're covered by nothing. And that was supposed to happen like 4 years ago. So we're a little behind the 8 ball there. And roughly that fee, they couldn't give us a direct number, but they went off our past. Because what they do is, once we go into contract with them, they build a a system for us, and it monitors all the call-ins that we have for digging, and then they base that off of a number. Once you hit a threshold, like, once you hit a threshold, it's X amount of dollars per month. And he said it's going to be $2,500, roughly $2,500 to $3,000 if we progress the way we did progress with digging, but it could be less. It's hard to explain, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if we're gonna go dig a sewer line, we have to call you. There's no internet there. There's no water line, gas, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that has a fee associated with it. Per call, I think is, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 15 cents or something like that. And once you hit like 200 calls or something like that, 200, 300 calls, there's like a base rate. And after that, it just progresses. And that's what you pay. And then after the first year, they split it up per month. And that takes 3 years to make the amount, monthly amount.
I remember, paying for a year, like $3,500 for this very thing. Before we cut their line.
Because you had damaged something.
Yes.
We cut their line.
But with this is a type of insurance?
No,
No,
there's
I mean,
no.
it's a type of what?
So you have, per state law, you have to call before you dig up anything in there.
Uh-huh.
That like putting a new sign in the ground, digging up sewer lines, anything like that, install anything. That goes for residents as well. And so.
And that's what this 811 is?
Yep.
Yeah, you call and they'll tell you where the lines are and say, no, don't dig there.
Yep. They'll send a guy out like, it's like basically a wand.
Okay.
They go like this over it, and then you see them spray paint the ground. That's the locators.
Okay.
And basically all that, basically it takes the liability, it's not an insurance, but it's like, if we're contracted with them, they're saying that there's nothing in this area. So
Gotcha.
if the contractor comes out and hits something within that area that they cleared,
It's on them.
that's on them.
Well, it is in a matter of speed.
Yeah.
Takes it off you. The onus is off you.
Yeah, essentially. That's what that is.
Does the county participate in that program? I would imagine that they do.
I mean, you have to, it's a lot of you.
Right. But any county or each jurisdiction has to participate.
So you were paying Verizon previously because you hadn't done that.
There was once that I never
I cut their line.
we cut their line. It's been probably 5. Do I have any questions or do you want to think about it?
I'm just glad we had you deal.
So is that the only thing we're paying right there, or is there other things included in that fees and subscription?
There's a lot of
Yeah.
dues.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's.
Permits, water permits.
I thought that's also, okay.
Capital outlay line is actually pretty much the balance. Permits side, it's not built in. We'll see what we have. Right, you want to move on over to page 16. We'll have to have some more sewer. I know. Okay, the labor or the overtime, you'll see, I just decreased that where I was saying that water was over, sewer was less. So I just. The electric at the sewer treatment plant, so it's about halfway down. Where the power line is. It actually was just treated lower, so I decreased it, that's the only decrease in this department.
And why is it lower? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I don't know, it just based on this year's, it's actually lower.
Won't complain.
Down to violations, we put 30 in there just in case. I'm sure, have no idea, but we're just trying to. Equipment maintenance, we've increased that by 10. Just to, you know, put it out, 'cause we're actually over what we're budgeted. Wastewater supplies and materials. We're over on that, so we've increased that. It just really takes a lot. And then that's really it.
Is it cost more material having together having to treat so much different, is it the problem with the system right now, or is it just, that's how much it's gone up?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many variables, like we'll start with water. So like, you get a bad rain day, or if you get, which we've had a ton of rain this year, you got to weigh more product because you have to try to treat the bad water. So basically, the turbidity goes up as the water stirs. Clarity is what turbidity is. So the dirtier the water, the more chemicals you have to use to start clearing off all that stuff. The chemicals go up, and then it's just hit or miss. It's something drops, you gotta add more. All those things. The sewer plant, not really. I mean, even though that plant's down, you can only treat so much. So once it hits the 625,000 on our 5 plant, that's max capacity. So as soon as it hits that, we just start pushing solids. So we just started shooting solids out to the river. We shut the air off to try to eliminate that. But that's the best we can do. So we're not actually treating anymore, or adding anything. Cost of material just goes up each year.
Where is Chad in his ORC?
He is taking his level 4 test June.
Where does he go to take that?
Going to Raleigh. At NC State.
Really?
Yeah, you got an email saying it's on.
It's different.
Ready to go to the rest of
Yeah. Yep. The last page is actually just the HB more just doing the 6 in and yeah. They might have us changed over before the end of this year.
Yeah.
But I told her a lot of what we're billing for is actually okay, then if you'll go to the rest of this. Back over.
Oh, okay.
On this center.
No, I have. It's like this.
It's the back of
You talking about this
this.
side?
Flip it on,
flip it onto the right.
Are we talking about tobacco
Yes.
savings?
Sorry, guys.
all right, so
You can
That's all
stop.
my chickens, $60.
Stop.
Just take it out. You don't have to
Seriously.
mail me a check.
oh, okay, so
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, all right, so okay, tobacco users actually has $60 more. Right now, the board had decided, to do the 80-20 coverage for all employees, because it was as close as what we had. So in order to be compliant with the state, we, do so anyway, so the $60 we're asking about is the fact that if you dip or chip or whatever, these two over here cost us $60.
Smoke.
That's like one entire crew.
I know.
It is,
Well,
it is, but they can They can say they're not doing it and join a cessation program.
Hint, hint.
And then their premium will be the same as everybody else's.
Does anybody ever check to see if they really do it?
Yes, the
Yes.
state of North Carolina takes your discount away.
I got something that said you actually have to go CVS and get screened.
You do. And then, yeah. And then you have to sign something saying, and my understanding is if you get an illness that is related, like gum or throat cancer.
Hint.
Better not lie on that one.
That they won't cover your treatment. If you've lied and said I don't smoke a deal.
If you go to CVS, how do they screen you? Have you not been screened yet?
Oh,
A swab or something.
I think it's
Nicotine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. But in any event, it costs us $10,000 a year to pay that additional $60 a month.
That's a lot.
Per chewing employee.
Yeah.
I don't check, I got too much stress. Not time to quit now.
Y'all,
And we don't
you're young, you need to
want
quit where you want to be alive and healthy, thank you.
Don't you want to live a little bit longer?
I'm living through this coronavirus pandemic, so.
It took me
We're all living
3
through that.
times to quit that I finally did. Honey, I was a heavy smoker. I was. Took me 3 times to quit.
Took me more than 3.
How early were you when you started smoking?
I was 18.
Gross.
You about that age too?
When I started, I was about 16.
I had to have cancer once.
Yeah.
And then I decided, well, yeah, I had to have a baby once. So I smoked momentarily. I mean, I quit momentarily, but that wasn't enough. And then I had to have cancer, and it was a type that was not in my lungs. But I thought, well, it was ovarian cancer. And so I thought, well, and that was removed surgically. And then I thought, well, shoot, if I get lung cancer, I could probably have avoided that by quitting smoking. That was on my 3rd, and then I'd already tried twice. And when I got the ovarian cancer when Heather was 6, and I really did want to see her grow up. So I thought, now if I keep on smoking and I get lung cancer, that is really probably will be my fault. So I quit.
Your mother was a smoker.
Yes, honey, she didn't quit till she was like 80.
Well,
She did
it's
quit,
too
but
late
she went
to quit then.
she went to a smoking cessation class when she was 80 years old, and she's the only one who quit older and lived to be 95.
Yeah.
But
Well, it took 2 heart attacks. After the second one, I quit and then had a 3rd heart attack because of it.
So
There you
Russell,
go.
have you had any heart strength?
Oh, yeah. High blood pressure.
You have real high blood pressure.
Well, no, this is dumb, but does smoking affect blood pressure?
To the back and everything.
Yes.
but it really, I did
It's
feel better
hereditary
after I
too,
quit.
Heather. You're a Tar Heel fan, we don't hold that against.
Yeah. Well, ask anybody at your school what they think about it. They see plenty of them.
But I know
We don't
one
want you to have to
thing,
go.
I would hate to ever get lung cancer or jaw cancer or.
Let's move on, shit.
It's not a pretty sight.
You're on the deal.
Or esophageal.
I think that's what, Mr. Morton.
What? Oh, God, yeah, we're talking about everybody's still.
Oh, and y'all are on TV, by the way.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right.
Are you guys still going?
Yes.
Okay.
Morton was like, I'm
Forgot it.
Geez, how did somebody remind us?
Thanks for
Well,
that.
it's like, I'm thinking about. Okay,
Well, anyway.
next page is specific salary adjustments in order to line up with legality.
That's the big. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, so the first one is, okay, and all of these adjustments are already built into this The governing body, for, 410, it's a split between the 410 and the 8. We're comparing the Spruce Pine clerk's salary at 55, and she has the same longevity as Jeannie, and increasing Jeannie's rate until December 30. It impacts each fund at $916. And when Chad assumes the clerk's position on January 1st, his annual rate will go to the minimum league average, which would impact each fund $65. Then you go to the finance officer job or position, and we're moving to 660. My current rate is 49,150. The increase to league minimum would have an impact of 36,800. Then we go to the police department. The chief's current salary was at 49,517 in this budget. During the fiscal year, the chief assumed additional responsibilities of code and zoning enforcement, and his salary was increased by 14,560, bringing his new salary to $64,064. And I'm gonna have to do it in this last budget amendment. I'm gonna have to do it and clean up that line to account for that salary. Total impact on the general fund is 54,1650. Then you go to the water sewer fund. The public work director.
Wait a minute, the total increase on the general fund is what?
5,460.
Oh, I thought you said 54,000.
No.
That's not what it said there.
You see it?
Yeah, it was printed correctly here, but I thought you
I
stated it.
probably did. The public works rate is 64 in order to reach league minimum. Salary will be increased to 55,523, and the budget will be impacted $1,859. We will reevaluate water wastewater treatment operators once our ORC contract with Deborah has expired in November. I've allotted some extra money in that line case, but we'll probably do an amendment if we do it something different. There's a little bit of money there. The crew foreman's current salary is at 43,680. An increase to the league average of 47,250 will impact the budget by $3,560. Total impact on water and sewer is 10,575.
Sounds like
What is that?
Speaking of water, so
That's her phone ring. And so right now, Russell, you missed that we actually do have a surplus. About 41 in 113.
Now, is Matt the crew foreman?
He is. And I mean, there's not a lot of difference in those positions, in a regular worker and him. And he actually did not want to take that job because there was not much money difference. And then we are actually, I pulled the COLA.
That's the only thing that's not in here.
This, yes. All these salary increases are actually
You're right,
this
Bill.
budget.
So what is our surplus on general fund before COLA?
47,180. 47,000.
So, and then the COLA amount is what?
The COLA would be 1,744 for general fund, and for water sewer be 21,000.
So that would be an expense if y'all decided to give a cost of living increase across the board to, and that's for.
That's for, I mean, that's everybody that's here. 6, because that's what I told that point in the basement. For 5 years. And I know that it's probably higher because they just updated it the first day of May, and it's based on order of this actual calendar. Yeah, they want to update it again in July, so we'll be past the time that we pass our budget.
Well, now, we never did vote on this deal of bringing Leslie up to actually naming her as finance director.
No, we did.
I thought we did.
We did, apparently we did. We did, what we didn't do, Bunny, was do a different organizational chart to show like, here's Leslie and here's the employees that now will answer to her. And that I'm planning to bring y'all at the June meeting.
I mean, we consider her, but that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
So now
It'll be
she's,
spelled out.
Right, there was a vote to move her to finance
we call her
director.
that, but
Yeah.
she will be then.
But I will bring y'all a sort of a restructured, organizational chart so that you can see.
Okay.
Because a lot of those things, my opinion, that should have been underlet because they deal with
Yeah.
money and finance and payments, and she is by statute has to.
Because when she signs stuff.
And she has to be in charge of, if the deposits are made correctly and that sort of thing. Those were traditionally had been assigned, to the clerk's position
So-
going back years and years. So we want to change the clerk's position quite a bit.
So for purposes of protection for her, is she's now protected that way when she signs?
Yes. Yes. Well, we're instituting several other changes, and I've prepared, still editing a draft for a procurement policy, which will give every department, they'll know exactly step by step what we have to do to spend the dime. And what Leslie's role, So nobody will be kind of out there
Nobody be out
ordering large amounts of anything without her knowing about it.
that they feel they need.
Yeah, and it's not department heads.
I like to make sure she's properly protected when she signs.
She is, and I mean, she's been bonded all along and that sort of thing. It's just in the organizational chart, who she supervises. We're gonna change that and make her a department that supervises things and take the clerk where it should have been, which is basically sits at the pleasure, of the board and does clerk stuff under the statute instead of all kinds of other. Well, we'll make the clerk do some other things too, so. But we're looking at how we can kind of combo some of these positions and keep everything covered with the staff that we have.
Okay, sounds good.
Is there a-
So you'll present that to us in
So-
the near future.
That, I hope at the June meetings, what I'd like to see is just it sort of, when we do our budget, kind of
That's the whole
everything,
thing,
and it's just starting off this coming fiscal year, everything's,
Will be in order.
will be in order. That's our hope. That's what we've all been working really for. But, they will need to make a decision on the color.
Yeah.
That's not something that's required, but.
Well, I mean, you just, need to talk about this pretty much, I feel like there's.
I know.
It's pretty basic.
You just direct me on whether.
Well, I mean, the 2.6 is the general, what we look at, it's the general rate. Right.
So, I mean, I feel like it's more hard it would be later.
Well, I don't have,
Well, if it's standard.
we have to start with something. So we might as well.
It is, it is, she's adopted in a
You need a
Agree
motion
to
to that.
No, she just needs to know if you guys, if you don't wanna do a COLA, then she needs to have that in the budget. She hasn't figured it into the budget to be adopted.
Okay, well, I think the COLA is good.
The last thing I have really, if Leslie's done, is to go over the fee and rate schedule, and then Dylan's gonna present on what information we've got back since our meeting on Thursday about McNeil and the helping the sewer plant out, and I don't think this will take very long. Everybody's got one here. You don't, we'll pass it out.
Well, that was a good presentation.
I'm sorry.
Glad you very,
Leslie, you ever.
thank you all very much. Makes it go a lot smoother.
When we do budget, we usually adopt a rate and a fee schedule. In the past, it's kind of been, the water, but I'd like for it to be a little bit more comprehensive. And if we can just do that every budget year, then people know starting out the year what's expected. Building permit fees, that has not changed. We moved that up a couple of years ago to be in line with what the county charges, so that's not changed. We didn't really have any zoning or planning fees. So Brian has done a lot of research on this, looked at other communities. And y'all can look at this, and if you feel like, that's too much, that's too little, whatever. But these are the rates we're proposing. And zoning, permits, typically somebody has to come in, they fill out some paperwork, and then he has to go out and do an inspection. It depends on if, it's just a change of use and owner. If you look under a commercial, say, somebody rents the Crazy Daisy space and puts a gift shop in it or something like that, then that's more of a simple thing. We're just looking at your use and we've got to change. But if he's having to go out like with Bojangles and you're having to, review plans and look at all the things that are, the landscape plan and setbacks and all that kind of stuff, that's a little bit more involved. And we weren't charging for any of this. And what we hope, once we get to the point where we can start letting people build again and fund our sewer system, that this will generate fees to cover, cost of having somebody in zoning planning working for us. And the building inspections, we know we've already got a contract in place there with John, but we can't take these funds and put them anywhere else. They have to go towards building inspection. And the same with signs. We just basically had said everything was just $25, Yep. So then we added a few other things. If you want a text amendment to our zoning ordinance, there's a thing for that. You want, to rezone a piece of property, there's things for that, because we got publication fees every, for 2 weeks on those, and that's. And then we have some miscellaneous fees. We didn't have any fee for annexations. We didn't have any fees for if somebody wanted to do a variance or a skill administrative decision. We added in public record requests, which we do get fairly, not every day, but we do. Those are sort of nominal charges, but the statute allows us to charge them. The biggest cost in that we're allowed to charge for would be if Janice had to come in, and we had this recently, actually it was with a subpoena, not with a public records request, but she had to come in and go back through the archives of a bunch of old emails and pull them out. We had to inspect them, and so, we added her charges in there. Stage fee, Jeannie had said that we had somewhere a policy that it was $100 to rent the stage. So I don't know if we want to keep that. We don't really have that many people renting it. And apparently every time we join in to sponsor somebody's event that we don't charge a fee. I don't know. Mobile food vendors, the daily fee of $25. We do not have anything currently, I'm gonna talk to Kim about that, in our zoning ordinance about mobile food vendors just out in town. We just regulate, like, if they wanna be here on our property, or in that parking lot, or something that's town. And then hourly charges for equipment and personnel.
What would be an example?
Somebody want to use a pumper truck, fill up their swimming pool. Somebody,
We don't do that.
huh?
Do that anymore.
I don't know. I mean, that was, I
That's the
think,
reason I was asking.
I think Brian had talked to Niles about it, and I don't think it's that necessarily written that we don't do it. I think maybe they discourage it. I don't know. And we certainly could take that out.
We can find that out, because I have been asked a question a lot. I'm told that they no longer.
Well, then maybe that needs to be our policy. And then, police officers, public works, if somebody is in need of them to do anything, that would be like their overtime weekend.
Yeah, like the crash fair
Like the
contracts.
crash fair. Yeah, or if somebody else, if they have some kind of festival here and they feel like, we might want some crowd control, or we want these guys to come set something up or whatever, then we're gonna get a little bit of charge back for that. Their time. So that's pretty much that. Like, I will ask on that, on the cover. Truck, Russell, and I was like, the ladder truck, what would you use that for? Other than, I guess, if you wanted something to sign up high. With that. It just seems like every other place we looked at was had charges. No, I mean, we wouldn't necessarily. Okay. So, we're done. Dylan, you want to talk about?
Yep. All right, so, I'll start with the revised quotes from Harper. Based on the only thing that they changed was instead of coding the whole entire thing, they were only code. I didn't give anybody copies of this.
Oh.
I literally just printed this off in like 2 minutes for her.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I thought that's was.
The revised quotes, all they took out was the coding on the outside of the tank, inside, outside wall. And they're at 380. Yeah, they were at like 60, I believe, or somewhere around that. And the price with Genesis doing the coding, they're doing the whole entire tank, everything. And then we take out $7,500 from their quote for electrical services because Kenji and which drops their price to $376.94. And then
Is that Harper?
no,
Yeah,
that was
Genesis.
Genesis is
Okay.
$376.94. Harper's new quote, just doing the clarifier inside and outside the clarifier coding is $388.30.
So they're actually doing less.
Correct.
For one.
Well,
Proceeding. So I reached out to, or followed up with Ivan, and they sent us over this proposal. And this proposal says the scope of services is to review contract proposals and provide a recommendation to the board, prepare a construction contract between the town and the board awardee. Provide contract negotiation with the awardee on behalf of the town, administer the contract between the town and the awardee, including review and approval of major equipment and materials submittals, provide on-site construction and observation of the repair work to the .3 Provide construction observation services as needed, 12 hours per week. Make final inspection of the construction, determine if the work has been completed in accordance with the contract documents, inform the town of necessary change orders, request for change orders from the contractor. Receive and review payment requests from the contractor. Payment amount to the town, and this amount for the guild by these fees.
22,000?
22,200.
Yeah, but basically.
And they said they're preparing the contract, right?
Fair construction contract. And then I got an email.
They gave us a recommendation.
They did. So they said the general consensus, this is from MJ and Ivy. The general consensus here is that we do not see an issue with the town awarding the contract to Genesis if they can provide a valid license. Currently their license has expired. References and can be bonded and insured. Our understanding is currently valid. However, they have indicated they will be renewing it. Jay with McGill reached out to Jason with Genesis, and they're discussing the license renewal. So thanks for giving us the opportunity to work with you guys.
So we're really not in the position until we find out about that license, because it has to be a licensed contractor if it's over $3,000. We're not in the position to make a decision on which company to go with. Right now, the only thing we have is whether we want McGill to administer.
They said,
Right. And I don't see any issues with, and obviously we don't need to vote now, but with Genesis, is from what I'm understanding, they're renewing their license. And they already have the price in here for their securing the bonding for the project. All that stuff. I'm assuming it would just be approving McGill to proceed with whoever we choose.
Well, what's the time period? Do we have any idea of the time period on when they can get their license back on the
Where
website?
are they out of? What county?
McDowell.
It says they're valid. Of 13/2020.
Well, then they got it yesterday.
Let's check the license.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had checked all of their corporate stuff, and that's all up to date.
And their references, you check your references.
McGill would be checking.
Oh,
McGill,
so
yeah,
McGill
that
will
would
do
be
the
part of
reference
our-
check it, if we engage them.
We'll say that I'm a little concerned about their classification.
Yeah.
Their classification's building, it's not public utilities. I'll leave it at.
Yeah, that'd be a.
So what is the, if McGill, so I know they sent out their just typical package to them as far as references and financials and all that stuff. And I know you had discussions with Jason with Genesis, and he felt like it was a little overboard but I mean, any idea what McGill's stance is on that, or did they have further discussion?
I spoke with Jay and he said all that stuff isn't needed. He said all he wants to know is what the license is, getting it renewed, and at least a few references to provide an adequate reference.
But they have, I mean, what they represented to us when they found us. We didn't find them, they found us, reached out. What they represented to us was that they had for many years been doing all the repair and maintenance on the wastewater treatment system at Backstation. So, I mean,
do they have a good reference from back?
we don't know.
McGill will follow up.
McGill.
I will say, like, this type of work, I wouldn't be too concerned if this person has, like Harper, that's all they do, right? That's the only thing they do is building these plants and rehab and all that stuff. You guys have done rehabs and new plants and stuff like that, but these guys don't have as much experience as these people do, as Harvard does. Genesis doesn't have as much experience, but we're not asking them to build this new plant. We're literally asking them to cut some metal out and put new metal in, and then drop new systems in and put a walkway. So it's basically a lot of metal fabrication. Mainly what's happening.
What's the difference in the two quotes?
This one's 388.30 and 376.
380, 830.
$13,000.
But we're getting a full coating from Genesis on the whole tank.
Right.
And does that, I mean, that's one thing that because when we first got the Genesis quote, we were sort of back and forth, do we need the whole thing coated? And then we were like, well, that really extends the life of the whole thing out to about 15 years, which would be great.
Isn't this substantially lower than what we talked about last
Genesis is not that much lower
Genesis is only $7,500
because it was the electrical stuff. But Harper's is substantially lower. Harper's is substantially lower because they had quoted us to treat the whole tank with that EnviroGlass stuff, and it was like $446,000. They'd come down to $380.
Yeah, they were 455 previously. Now they're at 380.
But that's only treating the
That's just-
clarifier.
Inside a clarifier wall.
And that's how much they were budgeting for doing the whole thing, and it was $20,000 more than Genesis, right? Genesis was around 99.
Yeah, they don't have the, I don't have the one that they had broke down. That was the original quote.
Yeah.
And the steel patching with Harper is, they give us an allowance up to $20,000. So, you know, if it only costs $10,000, you're actually paying like $7,000. It's just like, and basically what Chris said with Harper is just kind of a guessing game, but they'll give us an allowance for steel. It's going to cost for labor to do this patch. It costs up to $20,000. It might not cost the whole thing.
But Genesis has already figured that in.
That would be one thing I would, you know, consider just from, and he can, so he's at 78 for the replacement of metal. Going over on the original drawings.
I mean, if they can get bonded, then they're reputable. It'll determine if they can get bonded. Their license is valid.
I can call Jay and call him back.
I turned the heat
You're
on.
still looking at under 400
I didn't
with
turn it up
Neil's
enough.
quote.
You look.
I mean, that was my big
It has
concern.
got
I don't
you
want it
now.
to get up there where I feel uncomfortable, like, hey,
Give you 390, basically 398, 390.
I mean, then we still have doolies and catwalks. Or guts.
Electrician and yeah, parts room, Walker process.
I think it's $22,000 well spent, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
To have them.
I agree.
Yeah. And then that does too, kind of shift the liability
Absolutely.
100, it shifts it from us. In terms of if McGill
shifts
puts their stamp of approval on the work these people are doing, yeah, then it wouldn't be, then it wouldn't be when we said it was okay and then it turned out it wasn't.
Yes, I agree.
And it gives us Dylan back. He's not down there all the time.
He's still probably gonna wanna be there.
But I know that he doesn't.
Well, and they won't be there. I don't think they'll do as many. I mean, if it takes,
They're only gonna do it 12 hours a week or the week. get that.
Yeah, I mean, because what, we're looking at a 6 to 10 week process? What's Harper saying?
Depending on the,
Yeah.
And you're probably looking at only 3 to 4 pay applications, but I would still rather have them say, yes, this amount of work's been done, I approve, Leslie, right?
Right.
Because it's on me.
And hurry up.
Yeah, that's always how it
That's
is.
always right. Okay, so I guess we need a motion and a vote to approve McGill's proposal.
Approve the
Second.
Gill proposal. Wastewater treatment.
Is that set up, Dylan, for the mayor to sign?
So is everyone in agreement?
Yeah. we need to vote.
Okay, it's unanimous.
We'll let you sign that. And I pretty much, we're done for today. Unless you guys want to, do you feel like we need to reschedule another session to talk about any of this, or?
Pretty basic, I
Budget
think.
looks really good.
I mean, I think we're kind of down to,
The only increase is on the water side, on the sewer side.
Yeah, pretty much.
But there was enough decrease on the water side. Yeah,
How
right.
much?
And I should have new unemployment rates for our next meeting. And then we can maybe kind of look from there. That's more my concern about the sales tax. People don't have income,
I know
they're
it.
not gonna buy. But. Okay, so I guess we just need a motion, ma'am. Motion to,
Well, before we have that motion to adjourn, thank you to Leslie and Heather.
Jeannie worked for
Yeah.
us.
Jean and Dylan.
We need a lot of paper.
For the good presentation.
No doubt.
You all just aren't listening to a thing, but thank you all.
We are,
Thank you all very much for the hard work and time and effort put into this. It's gone very smoothly. It shows
Thank
good
you so
planning.
much.
So is there a motion to adjourn?
I move.
I'll second.
And
It's unanimous.
let me tell wherever Corbett is, he can turn us off.
Yes.
Oh, I keep forgetting we're on.
Stop housing, just start.
I don't. Why don't we just go to that?
It will take, let's figure out. Yeah. Last, our last.